thought this was supposed to be spring. It's a damp, cold, crappy day. Just going to the pharmacy, pick up some prescriptions for my mom, and head back before this gets any worse. Figure we'll stay indoors and stay productive. Maybe we'll do what we used to do on Sundays at work. Refrigerator cleanup day. Use up what you got in new and creative ways and get rid of what's left. That sounds like a good idea. Maybe I'll make some brunch today when I get back too. Just get done what I need to get done and we'll head on back. First things first. Welcome to the new normal. Let's do this. Okay, let's see what we have here. Some stock that I made last night. Some eggs. Some leftover fava beans. Parmesan cheese. You can make this work. What really excites me about the menu for this week's episode of As You Eat It is that it is a testament to one of my favorite quotes that ultimately sums up my culinary point of view in a nutshell. And ironically, it is not from a chef. It's actually from tennis legend Arthur Ashe, who said, "Start where you are, use what you have, do what you can." If you go into cooking with the mindset of ingenuity and creativity, you will not fail. So, today we'll be making a citrus salad with radishes, hearts of palm, and a few other ingredients. We're going to do an olive oil fried egg on top of a fava bean oat risotto. And we'll be making hot cross bun French toast. Since, you know, brunch kind of straddles the line between savory and sweet sometimes. But let's begin at the beginning. Remember when I said I had that stock that I made last night? Well, here's how you can make it. Trim and roughly chop 2 ribs of celery. Uniformity doesn't really matter here. What matters is that your produce is impeccably clean. Have a head of garlic and quarter 1 whole onion. Skin it all. It's all going into the mix. Peel and roughly chop 3 carrots. Down there, rough like so. And it's time to talk turkey. Bones, that is. I have the bones reserved from a turkey breast that I made the night before, and we're going to fortify that with some asparagus spears. Just going to trim that in half, very rustically, before adding in our tomato paste. That's going to give us a nice roasted flavor as well as some great color. About a tablespoon. We're going to give a nice little massage into our vegetables and our turkey bones. Season with salt and a little freshly cracked pepper. And then into a 500-degree oven it goes for about 20 minutes until our bones are nice and charred. And into a 10-quart stock pot they go, along with a quartered yellow tomato. And about a gallon of cold water. Cold water makes for a clear, finished stock. Next up, for some additional flavor, a quart of vegetable broth goes in, as well as 2 bay leaves, some freshly cracked pepper, ground thyme, and a heavy pinch of salt. Pop that on over medium. We're just going to bring this to a boil and reduce it to a simmer and cover it. We're going to let that go for about 1.5 hours to 2 hours before straining. You certainly can use a cheesecloth lined colander for this, but in this case we're going to use our spider strainer. All of our bones and our veggies are going to go into this bowl, and then we're going to discard those before ladling our finished stock into our container. We're going to let that come down to about room temperature, lid it up, and then into the fridge overnight. See this? Why couldn't this have been out this morning? Let's make that citrus salad. We're going to start by zesting our citrus. So that's 1 lime, 1 ruby red grapefruit, 1 navel orange, and 1 lemon. You certainly can use only 1 type of citrus if you like, but I find that it'll give you different flavor as well as different levels of acidity. We're going to trim off the ends, and then using our chef knife, we're going to peel at an angle so it removes all of that outer skin and as much of the pith as possible. The pith we need to avoid because that is going to make our salad bitter. What we really want is that fresh juiciness of the citrus. And it'll give you a chance to sharpen your knife skills. Now we're going to slice up our citrus like so. If you come across any stray seeds or pits, just discard them and set your slices aside until you're ready to build the salad. For an additional crunch and a nice fresh flavor, we're going to trim and slice 2 radishes, as well as 1 heart of palm. Now, if you can't find hearts of palm, you certainly can use artichoke hearts. They're very similar in flavor and texture. And for a little roasty toasty crunch, we're going to toast about half a cup of pecans over medium heat, shaking occasionally for about 5 to 7 minutes. Remember, if you smell nuts, they're burned. Time to plate up our salad. Our slices of citrus go down. Whatever order you want, haphazardly is fine. So a little lemon there. Maybe another piece of orange. We're gonna lay in our radishes, followed by our hearts of palm. And a little baby arugula is gonna get nestled right on top, like so. Followed by our toasted pecans. A little sprinkling of salt, and a couple of cracks of fresh pepper. Some olive oil, extra virgin please, and a little bit of our zest. And finally, for a little salty punch, some nice crumbled feta. Yum. This afternoon's forecast, cloudy, with a chance of risotto. Check that out. First things first, we're going to skim the fat off of our stock and pour off 4 cups of it. That's going to go into our pot, and we're going to bring that to a simmer, since simmering broth is going to absorb better into our oats. We're also going to heat our brazier over medium. That's going to take about 5 minutes, so we're going to chop our onion. We're going to take off the skin first before going with our flanks, then our sticks, and our cubes. Going to lightly smash and peel 3 cloves of garlic. And then slice it down. Once that's done, 2 tablespoons of olive oil are going to go into our hot brazier, followed by our onions and garlic. And we're going to saute those for about 5 minutes or so until lightly colored. Sprinkle in a little bit of salt and some red pepper flakes for some pop. Give that a nice big stir before turning to our grains. In this case, Irish oatmeal. 1 cup is going to go into our brazier, and we're going to stir to coat and let the oats toast for about 3 minutes or so. Just going to get that nice and coated before deglazing with a little bit of white wine. I'm using some Pinot Grigio today, but use whatever you have on hand. Marsala would be great here too. It's about a once around, so that's about 1/3 of a cup or so. We're just going to stir it in and let it evaporate, and then the alcohol is going to cook out. It's going to look like it's going to start to thicken up a little bit now, but it's going to get even thicker as we go. Just let that cook. Now we're ready to add in our broth. About 2 ladles at a time. Okay. And we're just going to stir this around and keep it moving so that the oats absorb all of that wonderful stock and start to release the starch that's in those oat granules and thicken everything up until we get that nice risotto consistency. Going to go back in with more of our stock here and repeat the process. Stock goes in, stir until combined, and then let it cook until absorbed. The whole process from start to finish should take about 45 minutes. All of that liquid, or at least most of that liquid, is going to end up in our finished product. Going to keep stirring that around. Looking really good. Going to pop it off to the side, put our skillet down for our egg, and get the finishing touches ready for our risotto. We have about 1/2 cup of fava beans that were boiled in salted water and cooled. Just going to stir that into our risotto. Give a little taste, see where we are. Could use some pepper. Okay. Not going to go too heavy with any more salt because we're going to add in some Parmesan cheese and some mint finish. Some nice shavings of Parmesan. That's going to melt in as we stir it, and some ground thyme. Nice big stir to melt that cheese and get it all combined. And a nice little knob of butter goes in just for a little bit of richness. It's about 2 tablespoons worth. Gonna get that nicely combined and pop a lid on our risotto while we deal with our egg. About 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil goes down in our skillet that's been heating over medium. Give it a nice little swirl. Gonna crack our egg, remember, on a flat surface before putting it into our ramekin, and then into the oil it goes. And we're gonna let that fry until the white sets and gets a nice crispy edge around it while the yolk stays sunny and runny. Nice little bit of salt and pepper goes on top. And we're gonna let that go for a second while we finish our risotto with our rustically torn mint. Nice big stir, top to bottom and bottom to top. And we are ready to plate this dish up. A couple of nice spoonfuls of our oat risotto. Gonna be a nice platform for our beautiful olive oil fried egg. A little drizzle of extra virgin olive oil, and a few shavings of Parmesan cheese, and let's eat. And for the sweeter side of things, let's make some French toast. For our French toast base, 2 eggs are gonna get cracked into our container here, followed by 2 cups of half and half. I don't have it on hand, so I'm going to make it out of equal parts whole milk and heavy cream. Gonna put some ground cinnamon to taste, followed by about a tablespoon of vanilla bean paste. You certainly can use vanilla extract if you have that on hand, followed by some freshly grated nutmeg, and about 2 tablespoons of granulated sugar, as well as 2 tablespoons of real maple syrup and a pinch of salt. Whisk to combine and set aside until you're ready. Overnight would be best though. Next up, we're going to slice up 2 leftover hot cross buns that I made earlier in the week and let stale out. Any stale bread you have on hand is fine. Heat our cast iron griddle over medium and get our hot cross bun slices in our French toast custard. Just gonna give them a dunk and flip them around. You want them to soak a little bit, but not to the point where they fall apart. That's about a minute. Onto the griddle they go, and we're just gonna let these go for about 2 to 3 minutes per side or until they're golden brown. Give it a nice little flip. Very nice. And onto the plate they go. Since they're small, we're gonna go 3 slices per order. A little blueberry yogurt goes on top. You can use whipped cream or even some sweet and sour cream. Some strawberries, a few blueberries, a drizzle of maple syrup. Let's eat. The upside to being on pause right now, get to catch up on a lot of crime dramas. Thanks, Hallmark. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed watching the video as much as I enjoyed making it for you. As always, like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Follow me on Instagram at TheChefZ. Follow me on Facebook, As You Eat It. If you would like to be an executive producer of As You Eat It, follow the Patreon link below, and I will be eternally grateful. And as always, cook how you want to cook, eat how you want to eat, create how you want to create, eat as you eat it. Be safe, be well, be healthy, and I'll see you next time.